who do you think is going to exceed expectations? And then who do you think is someone that's going to kind of fall below expectations, maybe fall out of favor a little bit, not get as much play time in the end?
Okay. I'll start with the first question. Exceed expectations. I think it's going to be Richaun Holmes, and I don't know. He kind of seems, not like an obvious choice, but obviously from where he was at the end of last season, after drafting or not drafting, but after trading for Sabonis, he obviously took over the starting center role, and then he had his off-court issues and injuries and this and that, and he definitely had questions if he was even going to stay on the team. And then he is staying on the team, and then it's like, well, like are Holmes and Sabonis like they're not going to play together, and this and that, and I feel like people started not necessarily writing off Holmes, but he's just like like whatever. Like this guy he was he earned that extension in Sacramento. He was a fan favorite. He was a very efficient player, and I just think people act like that's just going to go away because he's going to come off the bench or he's unable to play with Sabonis. I mean, I don't think they're going to be playing like a lot together, but I think we're going to see some Sabonis Holmes lineups together. Yeah, sure, Holmes can't stretch the floor, but the Kings have enough, floor spacers on that team. He has that. I mean, he has that push shot. I mean, it's not like it's. I mean, it's not like a 3-point shot, but I mean, at least can keep defenses honest a little outside the paint. Um, and so I mean, I think he's going to have a good year, and I think people are writing him off early, but I think he's going to be really good off the bench. He's going to just basically just do the same things he did as a starter, play with good energy, shoot the ball at a very high clip, which he has done since he's got in Sacramento, and just play good defense. He's a good defender, and that's why I think that Sabonis and Holmes matchup is going to happen more often than people think because Holmes is that perfect guy to guard that four. He was always a little undersized at that five, but at that four, he's going to do it really well. And that was the issue with Sabonis at the four is that he couldn't guard the four well. So you had to move him to the five. Like I said, I know the spacing gets a little cramped with Holmes and Sabonis together, but I don't think it's as big of an issue as a lot of people are thinking. I think he's going to have a good year, and he's going to just have a really good year off the bench, and people are going to be like, oh, like this actually works out.
Yeah, just a note on Holmes. I think one of the things that's also fair is that he's so athletic that in the roll game, I mean, like alley oops are going to be flying his way. And you could already see him build pretty. I think he got a few from Malik Monk, and he only played 2 preseason games, Holmes. And, he's still kind of anybody that I think is still going to get significant play time. He's still, just because of his missed time, because of his illness, I think he still kind of needs to get in rhythm a little bit. Like, I think some of the push shots that you're talking about, it's a very efficient shot historically. It did not look good the other night. But, that, 5 days, I think, in between the last preseason game and game one. So, he could come along with that. But it's like, think about him and Sabonis together. It's not like anybody's saying that's a main lineup, but like, I don't know, like there are going to be matchups that make sense to be kind of playing that at times. I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, I guess like a team that might work out against would be, I don't know, like would that work out against like New Orleans? Like maybe, I don't know,
Like,
like
I mean, very possibly. I mean, even Minnesota now with Carl Anthony Towns
yeah,
and Gobert. Like those. I mean, I think Holmes. No, I mean, you have Okpala now as the four, but I don't know. Like Holmes is athletic and he can add in that offense. So I'm like, well, he's your best four defender, but I mean, I think Okpala gets that. But he still has to prove himself. Like in larger chunks of game. Um,
yeah. And I think just to pivot off that, I'll let you continue. But it's like, who do you want? Would you rather have? I don't know. Is Okpala going to be able to guard a big guy like Zion Williamson at the
yeah,
four? Like,
No,
I
very
don't know.
true. And it's just like at the end of the day too, it's like who do you want in there in a closing lineup? Is it Akpala or is it Home? And like unless I mean Akpala, he has a lot to prove this year, and like he
If
just does.
yeah,
He has a ton to prove, and Holmes is a proven player in this league, and he's a good defender. I mean, 2 seasons ago he finished with the best isolation field goal percentage. I mean, he can hang his hat on that at least. And, he's proven that he can hang with those, quicker guys out on the perimeter and stuff like that. So, I mean, Holmes has already proven himself in this league. Akpala, yeah, he has the potential to be the better defender, and you can argue he already is. But until I see that, um, you know, it might just have to go to Holmes, and obviously overall Holmes is just the better player, and
yeah,
so
and also it comes down to and also it always comes down to matchups too. So it's just like
yeah.
it's never gonna be one solution. Like Mike Brown said, there's gonna be like 8 or 9 guys that play every night, and there's gonna be like nine or the ninth or 10th guy are gonna be like iffy on a given night, and that 10th guy might change from time to time. Like things are gonna be very fluid, matchup based, hot hand. So that'll be interesting because it's like if Akpala is hitting the three at like even like 33 or 34%, like on like open catch and shoot, like even like if that's a little higher on those specific looks, it's just like, man, that's like a dream. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels almost too good to be true. And it's like he hit the two in the last game against Los Angeles, so it's there. He hit two in one game. I mean, it's definitely there. It could be a comfort level thing, but if we're talking about a comfort level thing, we'll see what happens when the lights come on. Essentially, but yeah, it's a good one for Holmes. I don't know if you have anything more to add to that.
No, not really. Like I
It's a
love
good point.
Holmes.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he's been awesome since he's come to Sac, and I'm glad we didn't trade him, and I hope he can really embrace that role off the bench. But I think just for his love for the city, um, and just the energy he already plays with, I don't see it being an issue. And you kind of like question that last year after Sabonis came in, but then it's like, oh, he has like this off court thing with his son, and it's like, okay, like completely understandable. And I don't know. I think he's going to be great, and he just going to make up one of the better bench units in the NBA. I mean, Holmes,
yeah,
Mitchell, and Monk alone, and if Murray's going to be coming off the bench from the get go, oh
right.
man, that's going to be a
And you
good
got
bench right there.
a great like the personnel at center is deep. It's like Alex Len's your
He,
third. You
yeah,
have two starters essentially, because Holmes would be starting on a lot of teams,
oh
and
yeah,
it's I think another thing too. Like you listen to Holmes all training camp and the interviews and stuff that I've got to see him in. He's confident. He seems really like like kind of carefree and happy, and it's just that's kind of the mood of the club. But it's good. It's a positive sign. I think that's a good pick.